Hey everybody, welcome to Real Time Training, and this is part two of a series that we're doing called Fusion 101. If you're an interested person in our youth program, this is part of the training that we offer to you. So you can watch it at home, take notes, and those kind of things to see if this is really a ministry you want to be a part of. If you're a youth worker who happens to be watching this on my YouTube channel, welcome, and hopefully you'll kind of get a front row seat here to be a fly on the wall on how we talk to and train our youth workers here, and hopefully it'll be a benefit to you. So feel free to take notes and come along with us as part of the training, and hopefully we can benefit your youth ministry as well. So today we want to talk about makes and models, and really how the youth ministry is formed, and what kind of process we go through to get kids discipled and to hear about Christ, and to how the whole program basically works in this regard. So just like car companies like Ford, Chevy, Toyota, those are parent companies, and those companies are the make, right? And so they are known for that. So for our youth ministry, we call ourselves Fusion. And to be honest, we kind of inherited that name, but it's sort of stuck. And so we're until God gives us an idea of what else we're supposed to be, we're going with Fusion. And so Fusion is basically it's our name within the church that people know the youth ministry by, but it's also our name to the community. So when they hear Fusion, they know that that's our youth ministry, and they know that the values and the things that go along with that. It's kind of our brand basically to the community. When you hear about us, there's certain things that we want you to know about us. We want you to know that we're a loving, caring community of teenagers. We want you to know that we're Pentecostal. We want you to know that we believe in exciting youth services. We want you to know we believe in the gifts of the Spirit, and we want you to know certain things in our community about our youth ministry. So that's the make of our youth ministry. That's we present that to people within the church and outside of the church, so people kind of know who we are. That's our make, and then our model. And of course, Ford, Chevy, and Toyota, they make cars like Fusions, um, and Volts and Camrys, and so those are the models, right? So youth ministries have various kinds of models throughout the years. They've rolled out different things. Different churches have come up with things, whether it's purpose-driven youth ministry, whether it is simple youth ministry, whether it is flip a coin and hope for the best ministry. You don't exactly know maybe what you're going to get that night. We don't know what kind of model you do, but our model is what you would call an endeavor model, and an endeavor model has been around for a very, very long time, since the late 1800s or early 1900s, and really one of the very first forms of youth ministry. And so, as far as a model goes, and the essence of an Endeavor model is simple, is really about student leadership. And I know we hear that's kind of a buzzword, and that's all those things, but we truly believe that, and we'll kind of flesh that out here in a second. But what Endeavor does is it allows kids to really kind of explore and experiment with, and to really exceed maybe the dreams and the callings and the things and the passions that God has put on the hearts of students. And so we really try to emphasize on that, on the student, and being able to bring those to the table. It's not a very, it's ours is not. We try our best not to become a spectator sport where kids just come in and they watch and they get all excited about something, and then they leave for another week, and that becomes obviously an entertainment type of form of ministry. And so what we try to do then is we try to really emphasize three things within an endeavor model, and the first one is listening. We really try to listen to what kids are saying. That when we have conversations with kids, we encourage our youth workers to have conversations and to be able to listen. What is a kid saying? What are they angry about? What are they disappointed in? What are they sad about? What are they happy about? What do they find great joys in? And then we try to pull that out of them a little bit and say, well, what does that look like then? If you were to solve that problem, or if you were to do that, what do you think we ought to do about that? Really, that's the question we come up with, is what do you think we should do about that? And then if they have an idea or a way of doing something that's different or innovative or anything like that, we then try to partner with them. So in a sense, we become like an Eli. If you remember the story of Samuel, Samuel would lay on his bed and he was hearing the voice of God, and he was, thinking it was Eli speaking. And so 3 times Samuel got up out of bed and said, "Are you calling me? Are you calling me, Eli? Are you calling me, Master?" And Eli eventually clued in and figured out, hey, this must be God. God must be talking to this young man. And so we try to take the role of an Eli in the positive sense of being able to discern when God is talking to a young person and when those dreams and those things come up. And we try to make that a part of the program. So the next thing we do is we try to create space, and we'll get into this in just a little bit of doing that. But we create the space for kids to work on those dreams and goals. It's one thing because it's one thing to listen to a kid and go, "That's a great idea. You should do something about it." And it's another entirely to make space within your program for a kid to develop those skills and those things, and really partner with the kid to show them how that's possible. I work with our worship band, and although I am not a worship leader in any sense of the word, I'm able to help them as a band. I'll go into that meeting with a worship band, and we'll to work on very little things, like whether that's transitioning between songs, or whether that's getting them to be bold enough to pray, or being bold enough to make a decision up there in the front and say, "Well, look, if you feel like we need to go another time on that song, go another time on that song," and really be able to tune into things, what the Holy Spirit may be doing in the service and in their lives as well, and to be able to help them become sensitive to the voice of God in their own life. And so we create that space for them to be able to work on those goals and dreams. And the third thing that we do with them is we help them facilitate. In other words, we don't just say, "Hey, great idea, go do that," and we'll support that. Really, what we do is we walk alongside them. We'll sit in the meeting with them and say, "This is a great idea." And we'll say, "So and so has a great idea." Example, we had a young lady who says, "I think we should do a choir." And I thought, that's interesting. We've never done that before, in the sense of making it a part of our general program, where everybody's involved in it. It's usually an extra thing, and I think that's the deal. That's part of taking leadership mainstream, is saying, "Look, well, what if all the kids don't buy into it?" Well, then they don't buy into it, but we're going to capture the attention of some, and hopefully most, and the few that don't buy into it, well, then, that's just the way it goes. We can't really fix all that, but we want to give kids an opportunity to be able to do it. But most importantly, we want that young person. So the night that we did the choir, and we're still kind of in the process even as I share this, but the young person said, "I think we should do a choir." I said, "Well, what does that look like?" And we talked about it, and we talked about it, and then we just pulled the trigger on it and said, "Look, this is what we're going to do." And suddenly I had her get up and explain her heart and her passion for it. And for the past 2, 3 weeks, as part of creating the space to do that, we have our whole youth group join the youth choir, and we're on the verge of that. When we're done, it's a very short-term project. We do it for about 3 weeks, and on the fourth week, we plan on presenting that to the church, both on the Wednesday night and on the Sunday night. And so it's very short term, but it's practice, not for the sake of practice, but for the sake of getting somewhere with it. And I think that's important for young people to know, that we're facilitating it to the point where we're actually gonna do it. And not only did we create this choir, but we've also found some other adult leaders to come in, who sing in our normal choir, our church choir, and play in our band, and they have been helping facilitate this as well. So in creating that space, not only have we gotten a bunch of kids involved in youth choir who maybe have never been involved in it before, but also we've exposed our youth ministry to other adults in our church who would not normally be a part. So when they're done with the worship in their in the adult service, they come in with us and they help facilitate that. So that's part of those are the three keys: is really listening to what the hearts of kids are saying, and then challenging them as, well, what do you think we should do about that? And then create off of that. Then we create the space for them to be able to invest in that, and to work on those things. And then the third thing is we sit in there with them and we help facilitate those things, and we ask them and challenge them. And that's really part of the discipleship process, is bringing a dream to fruition, and the things that God tells them, and the things that the passions that God puts on their hearts, is to help bring that to fruition. And then they see that this is a very active faith in their life, that they heard something, we facilitated, we went and walked along with them, and then it was accomplished. And so a very positive feeling on that. So what does Endeavor look like then on a normal, how does that model within the Fusion program? How does that look? Well, we've chosen to do, and this is, once again, this is just something that I came up with. It's our current way of how Endeavor works within our ministry. Now that can always change, but right now we do a 45 and 45 challenge basically. And 45, the first 45 minutes is your traditional youth service. Kids come in and they do the normal things, whether it's praise and worship, the word, all those kind of things, offering, all those things. I've had to shorten my messages a little bit, but that's been a great challenge because you know you can if you only have 15 minutes or 20 minutes tops to share what you're going to share, you're really going to leave the fluff out and you're going to wind up focusing on what you need to focus on. If you preach for 45 minutes or an hour, God help us. If we preach 45, kids will be laying out, not in the spirit, but they'll be laying out because they're asleep. But we want to have that service and have the somewhat traditional format, because a lot of times when we do a model of ministry, we break the process. We say, we're going to convert to this and we're going to do this and this is what it's going to look like. And unfortunately, I've done that sometimes in the past as well. And I've lost kids because I made a hard right turn into something, and a bunch of kids flew out of the program. But in this case, we've maintained a little bit of the tradition and some of what we are doing, and then we do the second 45 minutes. We try to be that part of that innovation where we create the space for them to do those things and the facilitation process, because that gives you, the adult leader, something to work with. You might find that you have a kinship. We have a lady in our church who does the nursing home ministry. Well, she's had several of our young people. She's also our high school Sunday school teacher, but works with the nursing homes, but has helped facilitate that ministry amongst our young people. And there are kids who are bought into going to the nursing homes and singing and worshiping and doing some things, and that has been phenomenal. And they've worked on that somewhat. And in that second 45 minutes, just some of the things that we've done, we've helped make bracelets for the nursing home. The band actually practices. Of course, we have the youth choir happening right now, but some other things that we're going to get into will be things like skill building, things like how to pray with people at the altar, or how to share your testimony, or we may send a bunch of kids to go visit somebody because they're missing that night. We may do any number of things, but this, goes to the passions on the hearts of the kids, and we're gonna, do drama team and things like that. And so we allocate that time for kids to be able to explore and experiment with, and to really exceed in their dreams and goals and desires. And now we don't cut out any of the fun, because some nights we may just have game night. We don't just do that every week, but we proportion that out throughout the fall, when we say, look, we just need to blow off steam, and we need to have a game night, and we need to kind of get off our system for a little while. But hopefully what we do is we allow the kids to plan that. That's part of that 45 minutes. Say, look, we're having a game night coming up. Who wants to lead this? Who wants to do this? And so they facilitate that ministry. That 45 minutes is not just planning projects outside of the church, but also planning project inside. So whatever they develop and do, whether it's the youth choir or a drama team, they're working on something that's going to be used in the program. I might have a series of messages where I want them to work on some skits. Well, that second 45 minutes, they're working on that skit, and then they come back the next week and they actually do the skit. So that's kind of the plan. That's the overall picture of what an Endeavor program looks like to us. That's how we facilitate that. That's how we get our adult leaders involved. And so if this has been something that has been of benefit to you, if it has been something that has intrigued you at least, and you'd like to come by the ministry and make an appointment to come and be a part and just kind of watch, that's great. Come on in. If you're, once again, a youth worker who's watching this on on my YouTube channel, you are welcome to email me or leave a comment below and simply ask some questions about some of the things that I've talked about today. Don't forget to download the form at the bottom there. I have a little fill in the blank sheet that you can work off of, and so keep those as your notes. And so if there's anything else I can do for you, whether you're a youth worker somewhere else watching this, or you're somebody interested in our youth ministry, please don't hesitate to contact me, and I look forward to talking to you very, very soon. Have a good one until next time.